welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and I am going to work today on the cover for my journal that I'm going to use for Junk Journal July 2025. I did a video the other day where I kind of did a quick flip through of the inside of the journal, and today I'm going to work on the outside cover, definitely the front and probably the back also. So let's get started. I had thought quite a bit about what I wanted to do with the cover, and I originally thought that I might start and just cover it with some fabric. I have this great bright orange and pink and turquoise paisley fabric that I thought would be really fun on the front cover, and I also had this fabric that I purchased that I thought would look really great with the silver, although this has some gold in it, but I thought it sort of looked summery, so I thought about doing that. And then I started thinking about the fact that I really love the sort of smash journal feel of this cover, and I wanted to keep as much of the cover as I could. And so I started thinking, okay, well, what parts would I want to keep? And since my last name is Smith, I thought it would be fun to keep this and just replace the author's name with my own. And I sort of like these graphics here. And then I remembered that I have this cute little book called I Think I'll Just Be Happy Today, Happy Notes to Share. And it's from Natural Life, which is a website. And it's full of just all of these cute little cards that you can tear out and give to someone. It was about $13. And I've had it for quite a while. I've used a bunch of the pages. So I thought, you know what, this sort of has the same feel as my inspiration page on the inside. So I thought, okay, well, this is perfect. So I went through and I found some that I thought might work, because what I realized was that this fits pretty much perfectly over the original title. And then it says I think I'll just be happy today. And then I thought I could cut out the Junk Journal July logo and put that at the bottom today, so it would become whatever the quote is, Junk Journal July 2025. And then I could change the name here. So I sort of like that idea of playing with the front cover. So I went through and I pulled some that I thought would make sense as a title and would look good on the front cover, and I have a stack of a few. So I do want to keep something that is in somewhat keeping with this feel. Pretty sure anything from Natural Life is going to fit. I really like that one. That one's cute. Less of a fan of that one. I might set that over up there, just sort of aside. That one works. Also less of a fan of that one. I do like this one, and I do like that one. So I've got a few here, some maybes and some definites. So let's try them out on the front, because again, I want to keep this background, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the silver, because I also want to keep this. I think I mentioned in my last video, the name is on here, and I just think this is absolutely hilarious. So what I think I'll do is, whatever the quote is, I will get my hands on one of these printer tag, I can't think of what they're called, but to make these for real. And or else maybe if I can find a font that will do it for me online, and then just print the title over top of here, Junk Journal July, and put it right on this, and again, leave the there. I thought that would be really cute. And then something in the back here, I'm thinking about leaving most of the titles here and just adding my own words to it, and then maybe replacing this a bit. So not exactly sure what I'm going to do there, but anyway. So with that in mind, let me go through these and see what I think works with the front cover. That's okay. That sort of gets lost in this brown. I don't like with that brown. I'll put that in the nah, probably not pile. I think I'll just be happy today. That's all right too. I think I'll just, now see that one, even though it's got the brown background, this looks like a lighter shade of that. So I feel like that fits. This is still, this at the moment is a winner. The do more. Now see, this I like because it has the black and ties in with this, and so that sort of makes sense. This, I think this might be the front runner. And then I love this, and color-wise I feel like this is the closest to what I want to do. I'm definitely going to get rid of these. So I've got these choices here. So this is just bleh. I'm going to rule that out. And this quote was the one I liked the best. I think I'll just be happy today, Junk Journal July journal. But it's kind of flat, so I think I'm gonna move that. So again, we've got happy thoughts, which I like the colors. I think it looks good with the silver. And then the do more of what makes you awesome, which I also like. And it really does tie in with that. Also, I could possibly, no, yeah. Right, it's between these two. So let me set this aside for a moment, and I'm going to cut this out and see if that helps at all with my decision-making process. So do a little bit of fussy cutting here. Maybe I shouldn't have gone quite so close because there's that little bit there. Oh well, it's too late now. Well, I guess I could, no, I'll just keep going. I didn't think that through as well as I probably should have. The paper's getting in my way. I'm gonna just cut along here and set that over to the side so that I can manipulate this a little bit. And kind of go around. A little further. Why not? I don't have my best fussy cutting mojo going today. All right, you kind of don't notice that I did it right along the side over there. So So with that in place, if I put this here and I can always change that up. So that's cute. Right, I like that. And then there's, yeah, that doesn't play nearly as well. Okay, as much as I would really like to do this bright thing, that's what I was imagining in my brain, I think that this one is going to work better with everything else that I have in mind. So yeah, we will do that. Let me get this out of the way and put these back for now. Okay, so, okay, so I went looking to see if I could find a word journal to put with this, and I found this from the same book. I must not have used it. And I kind of liked the colors, so I wanted to just see whether that one made me happier. Think art and think happy, be happy. That really ties in nice. Oh, see, this is funkier, but this might be it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go, because see, it's got the little bit of brown in there, so it ties in with the background and also with the brown in here, the black and the black and the black work. But this gray goes so well with the silver, so even though I really, really love this, I'm going to not use it. I'm going to use this instead. Okay, and I couldn't find the word journal, so I'm going to have to figure something else out. I also thought, I don't know if you can see the dots that are on this book. I love this. So I thought if I trimmed this just a touch so that I could expose the dots, then I could continue it all the way around, which would be like really awesome. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm gonna get my cutter here and not really in frame. Trim this off here. I'm not sure that's going to be enough. No, it's not quite enough. Although I guess I could, yeah, actually that's okay like that. Yeah. Okay, but I do think that I am going to just edge the edges of this a little bit. So little trick I have, on the back of my ink pads, I have a little Velcro dot, and I use that with one of these, and that way I know I've always got the right ink pad to go, oh, what is that? A little fuzzy. To go with I don't want a ton of bulk on this front cover. Or I would possibly mat behind this with just a thin piece of black paper. But doing this edging here, I don't know if you can see, it's very, very subtle. Yeah, right there you can sort of see it. It's very subtle, but I think it'll make it pop from the background just a bit without adding a lot of extra bulk. see how that it just lets it pop the tiniest bit from the background. Yeah, I like that. And so let's tuck this, oops, forgot to put my back on the back. And okay, so I think I just want to keep the front pretty straightforward and simple. I'm gonna definitely do the dotted lines around here. Not 100% sure yet that I want to. Now I feel like, oh, you know what? I put that away. And now I'm feeling like I should edge this as well. So it also stands up just a bit. This is an archival, it's Color Box archival Wicked Black, and I keep it right on my desk. I use it all the time when I need a black. You know what, I'm not so sure I'm happy about that straight edge. I think I'm just gonna tear this. A little bit. Yeah, I like that better. Now when I'm completely finished with the front, I will do a layer of matte acrylic over the top, and that has it'll pull out some of this printing because my printer isn't particularly sharp with this, so it's kind of doesn't really pop a whole lot. But I think once I use the okay, that's fun. That's really fun, and I can probably add so these arrows that are here on the journal, I don't know if you can see them. So I can go back over them afterwards and recreate those arrows so that they are there as well. And then I kind of like this, and then I'll put the word Junk Journal July. I feel like it needs something there. Maybe, yeah, if I just go over here a little bit further like that, and I'll leave yeah, something like that. Okay. All right, so now ordinarily I would probably just use a little bit of glue or a glue stick, but since this is the cover and I'm anticipating it getting quite a bit of wear, I'm gonna go ahead and use my acrylic medium on this. I'm almost out. Yikes. See through the bottom. I'm gonna have to get some more soon, I think. All right, so about there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this on. And since I'm going to be eventually matte gelling the entire thing, I'm not gonna worry too terribly much about going outside of where I'm gonna glue this down. I'd rather know that I've got glue everywhere I need it than not. Okay, and then I'll put this here and ooh, straighten it out a little. All right. Oops. And then let me get my little, I like to use old catalogs to glue on so that they're getting a little bit of reuse before I toss them. And then, yeah, I sort of like this hanging a little bit onto the spine there. Okay. All right. Now I need to work on replacing the title of, or the author's name, with my own name. So I need to find some brown paper that'll match. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. I found in my little dish of scraps that this piece of Christmas wrapping paper, and I think it is really close to, it looks closer in real life than it does on the camera. Not exactly a match, but I think it's the closest that I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make it work. It has this little bit of a dotted grid on it, which I'm not too sure about, but we'll deal with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this out of the way, and I'm going to grab my trusty ruler here, and I want to have torn edges. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this, and it needs to be, I'm going to eyeball here, it needs to be about this-ish big. So we'll do that, put the rest back in here, and then tear that side, and maybe tear that side, and sorry about that, it was a little loud. So yeah, I think that'll work. That'll work just fine. And I'll write the letters in white just like this, and then I will outline them once that dries. I'm going to use a oh, here we go. I'm going to use a pigment pen. It is I don't know how to say that. Bauki. This works pretty well. So I will use that to write my name in. I'll actually probably write it in pencil first just to make sure that it fits, and then we'll go from there. So on this one, because I don't want to wait for the glue to dry, or the matte medium to dry, so I'm just gonna, this is so thin, and I think it'll be, oh yeah, that works just fine. Okay. All right, and then now a trick that I like to use. Let me find just a piece of paper here, just out of a notebook. So what I like to do is I like to figure out height. So if I do about this high, so that's about two letters high. So then if I kind of just sort of, now I think this is all in caps, so I'm going to do mine all in caps too. So if I do my letters about that big, let me just grab a pair of scissors, and I like to try and get a feel for how big something needs to be, is gonna be, and whether or not it's gonna work before I start. So yeah, I'm gonna really have to jam that in unless I go sort of this way and match the angle there, because I think that looks a little too awkward. So, but if I do sort of like that, I think I'll be fine. And I'm going to leave that there just to sort of keep myself straight. And the last thing I want to do, let me grab this. So if I want it to be about there, just so I don't end up with something curvy, give myself a little bit of a line. And then start it there. So T R A C E Y A N N. That's really hard to see, but I think we'll be okay. And I think I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll go over it again just to make sure that it pops as much as the other letters do. Okay, I went ahead and did a second pass of the white, and I'm going to let that completely dry before I go back over it and add the black outline. In the meantime, while that's drying, I'm going to continue the dots around the edge, and I wonder, zoom in just a little bit so you can see. Now right here, these dots, it kind of covers it up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add that in, and then go right along. Oops. Now do I want to go? Yeah, I'm gonna go around here. So continuing or working with something that's already on the cover is a great way. I'm not sure yet if I want to go in. Yeah, I do. But it's a great way to connect what you're adding to what is already there. And this book already had the little dashes around the front, so that's fun. And then there was also these white arrows, so I'm going to add those in as well. So that instead of being something that is behind and looks kind of odd, it becomes part of the aesthetic of the journal. And then maybe one more here. Yeah, I like that. That works for me. Okay. So the only thing, again, I want to keep the front simple. So the only thing that I really need to do is do this lettering, and I really want to make sure this is dry first. So I'm going to let that sit. I definitely want to keep the and probably cover up the Guerrilla Art kit, but I'm hoping that I can get one of those things to make these, I wish I could come up with the name of this, to make these and actually print them out and glue them on here so that it says the Think Happy, Be Happy, the Think Happy, Be Happy Junk Journal July 2025 journal. And just, you know, let that cover this up and be the side. And then here I will put the word journal as well so that this continues on the side. Right, so gotta take a little bit of a break again and let this dry off before I tackle the last piece. So best laid plans, right? It's still drying. I want to give it a little bit longer, but I was sitting here thinking about what do I want to do next? Is there anything else I need to do? And because I feel like it needs a third thing. I feel like it's a little bit unbalanced. I was digging through my box of stuff that I have here. Oops. With all of the goodies that I am going to use to play with in this journal. And I remembered that I had these paper dolls. And so I thought maybe I could check these out and see if any of these would work and be interesting in this space. So some of them, I kind of want to stick with this color scheme, although this black does look a little bit blue. So she's kind of fun. I don't love it, but maybe. This one will not work even though the umbrella is the right color because it covers up this. So she's a no. Oops, hold on. Forgot one. She's too big and a little much, I think. She's washed out and totally the wrong color. Nope, covers up my Junk Journal July. So this one, I like the blues kind of go with this, but they're a little bit washed out and I think they're also too wide. Okay, she's sort of fun, and if it wasn't for the fact that she had a shoe, although I wonder if I could put her on there. She does sort of need the shoe, but I wonder if I cut that out, if she could be sitting. That's a possibility. I'm gonna set her over here with this other one. And then, oh, now I like her because, again, it's the black, and she's got just a pop of the pink, which, and this blue sort of ties in here. So that is really, that's really fun. I like that. In fact, I think I like that better than the blue. I'm gonna put her in this pile. And then I found two others that have the pink in them. And she doesn't look terribly happy. I do like that her skirt is brown, so that kind of pulls that in, and her hair is kind of dark. I'd obviously have to cut the rest of her out, but she could work. So she's also a maybe. And then I just think she's fun looking, but she seems a little too bound up. This was the one I actually thought of first, but I'm not as thrilled as I am with some of these others. So again, I'm going to take these friends and set them aside over here. And I definitely think I'm going to need to do another video for the back of this journal. This is longer and a little more involved than I had expected it to be. But trying to keep myself open to ideas and possibilities and, you know, what I may not necessarily have planned, but what ultimately feels like it makes sense. It's right at the tip there. Okay. So I do like her a lot. I really do like her. I like the color that she adds. I also like her. She's a little bit bigger, but I like her as well. And yeah, I like her too. I also, though, kind of like the idea of this chickadee with her shoe off, but I need to, so these two are still possibilities. And then if I decide to use her, I'll cut that out with my X-Acto. But for now, I just want to see, a lot of times when I have these, I'll cut them out so that they're close to the size, but then I will leave things that could get potentially bent or messed up as I rummage through or move them from container to container, like the heel of this shoe, and I will not cut them out. I'm definitely not the world's best fussy cutter, but that is good enough. And so let's see, if I set her, I want to be able to read the word art, but I could set her feet there, except she really should be sitting. She really should be sitting this, because her butt would be about here. And that does kind of cover up. She's going to fall off. So I put her up here so her feet are resting. Maybe forgive the fact that she's not really sitting on this, but it covers this up too much, I think. Okay, as fun as I think that is, there's nowhere for her to, I'm in love with this idea now. I could let her be like this. And just cut her so she's sitting. I don't think it's going to work. Her hand needs to be up here. And see, then she looks like she's floating. All right, it was a fun idea, sweetie, but she's not going to work. So we're back to these two. And I just need to decide, do I like the black one, which pulls in all the black and has a hint of the pink, or do I like the pink one, which is a little bit happier? Okay, I really love the drama of her, but she seems very sophisticated. This one just seems a little bit cuter, a little bit brighter, and maybe a little bit more in keeping with what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go with her. Okay, so let's see here. Grab my gel again and knocking everything over. Actually, I think I'm going to use my spatula thing. And actually, let me turn it this way because I think I glued up here and it might still be a little bit wet. I'll make sure I get enough. This is a little bit thicker paper and a little less porous than the other. Make sure I get enough glue. And yeah, so the only thing that I've really lost is the arrows that I drew, but I like her feet there, and so I'm good with that. She's stuck down. All right, and let me just go ahead for now and scrape this off back in there, and I'll set that there for now. This out of the way. Okay. All right, this should be dry. Okay, so trying to mimic, maybe not. Let me try this pen instead, see if that works. Okay, that'll work, but I'm not convinced this is completely dry. So I'm gonna push pause again and give this more of a chance to dry. Welcome back. I think this is dry now, so I'm gonna go ahead and, not maybe, oh no, I think my pen has dried out. Oh, that's unfortunate. How's this one working? This one's just fine. Okay. It's not great, but it's close enough. You get the idea. It feels the same way. Okay. So that is my front cover. And the last thing that I will do is put, I don't have that journal thing here yet. I also don't have a stamp doodad, so I'm just going to, although I do have Junk Journal July journal. I want it bigger than that. I'm gonna just go ahead and seal this for now, and then I can come back later and add that sticker on the top. I wouldn't seal that in anyway. I'd actually probably put that on the top. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Add another coat of acrylic medium. I do, when I do this, I do like to put something, this is just wax paper, underneath to protect everything that is behind it so that I don't completely mess it up. Where did I just put? Oh, it's right here. So I'll go ahead and grab a little bit more of, I like using this for covers because I can get it pretty smooth, and it doesn't leave brush lines, which I like. So I will eventually go up and down, but first I'll go around the edges, top and bottom, this way. Oh yeah, I am almost completely out. Good thing I got some more yesterday. Okay, and then down. Kind of hitting this a little bit back and forth at the moment. Okay. Whoa, way too much up there. Way too much. And again, just trying to get it on right now that I've gotten the edges so that the whole thing is covered and I don't end up with any weird patches. And right in the center, I still need to get right there. All right. I think my printable is bleeding just the slightest bit. Okay, so we'll let that dry, and then once it's dry, we will have a front cover. You can already see that the printed thing from the printer is a little bit more vibrant than it was before, and the colors look a little bit more saturated. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry, and that will be the end of it.